Okay. So, may gabi natong tanan. Actually, naglibukon sa ako pag-start. Well, it's so, kung balik-balikon bitaw na ko share ang kaning na-experience na mo, na-encounter na mo, I'm still kaning emotional pag-yun ba. Well, that was true ang isulti ni Mamila. My husband was confined in 14 months. Na-confine siya sa hospital for 3 times. Kunya, imagine sa 3 times ICU. So my husband is a scuba diver. He's 58 years old, scuba diver. In contrary to the pronouncement ni Sir Marlon, ganina, no? And he was very abusive sa mga pagkaon, sa tanan, mga vices. My husband is dili gyud siya abusado nga pagkatao. Unya mo na nga sakit kay mo na una. Nga despite sa iyang healthy lifestyle, okay, he was a scuba diver. Nag-dive siya almost every day, kay that was his profession. Despite sa iyang healthy lifestyle, he was diagnosed of chronic kidney disease stage 5, secondary to polycystic kidneys. So, it was genetics. Bali na-pass on from his father, de sa iya. So, we cannot do anything about it. The doctor said nga it can also be passed on to our children. So sad to hear that. So that was last February. We were scheduled to visit his pulmonologist. So when I was driving the car, he was with me. He said, "Sweetheart, kindly put off the air condition and open the windows of the car." So then I look at him through the mirror and he was grasping his breath. He was really grasping his breath. He was like a fish in the aquarium na brown outan, napatyan o aerator. The mouth was so wide, big and wide, grasping breath. So, I was driving down the bridge, Mactan Mandawi Bridge. So I was driving there, and you could just imagine the traffic. It was Friday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You can just imagine the traffic, how traffic it was. So, good thing God gave me the wisdom not to tail the traffic. I counterflow. So, ang island ni counterflow ko, I was driving against all the vehicles going to the bridge. So, I had the courage to do that because of my husband. I wanted to save his life. So then, I told him, just continue to breathe or even cough. You cough. Do not lie down. You just sit down and continue to breathe. So while he was there, I just put the light on hazard. But I did not use the horn because I was thinking also that he might panic. So as soon as we arrived there, at Chomo Mandawi, so he was there. He was assisted right away with the attendants at the door, at the emergency room. There, I was all of my body was trembling, my feet, my hands, and I don't know how to get out of the car anymore. I do not know, because the car was child locked. So I shouted and I told the guard, "Guard, I cannot go down anymore." Then I threw the key, and the guard was the one who let me get out of the car, and he was the one who parked the car because I put the car beside the ambulance. So when I approached my husband, he was there lying. I saw him as if I only could imagine two things. First, he will be dead. Second, he might survive, but might be brain damage or any organ might be damaged. So I looked at him and I raised both of my hands and I said, "Lord, thy will be done. I surrender him to you. But if given the chance, life is so beautiful. We still want to live this life with him." And so, God was so good, God was so faithful, is so faithful. My husband survived. Praise God. Thank you. So, after praying, after surrendering to him, I said, I was relieved. I was relieved. Then I looked at my husband, and they administered oxygen to him, they administered bag, and I told the doctor, "Doctor, this is his third time. He has a history already. Please open the system. His name is Wilson Chavez. He has a history there. Then doctor, please intubate my husband." I told him to put the vent tubo so he can breathe. So there, he was intubated. So natubuhan din siya, and he revived. So then, he stayed in the ICU. On his 4th day in ICU, the doctors were there surrounding him because on his first and on his second confinement, he was already advised to undergo hemodialysis because his kidneys were very weak and his heart was weak and he cannot put out all the fluid. So some of the fluid backflowed to his lungs. That's why he had the lung edema, which caused him to grasp his breath. Nalumos na yung lungs. And that's why when we arrived at the hospital, his oxygen was only 54%. So then, on that 4th day, the nephrologist, the cardiologist, the pulmonologist, they were there, and they told me that, "Ma'am, murag mapili na jud ni imong bana." So then, I approached him and I said, "Sweetheart, I've been praying to God that God will give wisdom to this medical team, that they will be able to give the appropriate intervention, the appropriate medication for you to be healed. And I believe that this is it. The hemodialysis that they offer to you, this is the way that you will be healed." So, I know I am your wife, however, I cannot decide for you. You have to decide for yourself. You go on dialysis or not. So then, he showed like that. This one in scuba diving, this is okay. So when he make a sign like this, I right away went out of the unit, the ICU, and I asked the surgeon. I told him, he's fine. May I sign the waiver? And there, everybody were there. All the doctors were there. And the surgeon came in, he operated his neck, he put the IG, and the machine was pushed inside the hemodialysis machine, and then he underwent the hemodialysis. So God is still very good. For the second time, he survived. Praise God for that. So, Richard Kaputulan is a family friend of ours. He called me up and he was asking, "Kumusta na mami?" And I told him, "Chard, Daddy is inside the ICU." And he said, "I'm coming to the hospital." So when he arrived at the hospital, he brought with him the Purtier. So he said, "Mami, let Daddy take this." Then I said, "Chard, dili man pwede, kinakatumpuman niya nag-NGT pag yun. Yeah, we didn't know about that cutting bitaw. Wala kami hibaw, anak, putlon ba? Yeah, isun lang. So, what we did, tingong ko, later na lang, kumatangtang na ang iyahang kuan. So, good thing nag-recover siya. So, natangtang yun eventually. 23 days yan sa ICU. Natangtang ang iyahang tubo. Then after that, ipainom na ko siya o Purtier. So, I let him take the 2 capsules in the morning and 2 capsules in the afternoon. But before siya mag-dialysis, dili na ko siya painom. Right after dialysis, he will take the capsules. So the first, while he was still there at the hospital, 3 times in a week siya mag-dialysis. Okay. So there, after 5 days of taking the Purtier placenta, it was really miraculous. Why? Because he was able to sit down, he was able to stand up, and finally he was able to walk. Grabe yun ka miraculous. Can we give a round of applause for that? And the doctors were there. They saw him. And they were surprised, they were amazed. And they even asked me, "What have you done? What did you do?" Kasi ipainom. So yung gudo, ipainom. Mura pa ko ka ng igamay gani na wako kasabot kung I will be proud or nahadlok or mura ko nag-alanganin. Dok, akong ipainom ko, placenta. Okay ra, Dok. Pinaanak pa. Choo! What shall we say? Mingon dili nga. There's the result. He is well. So you continue. Pero mahal na ha? Yan siya, pero mahal na ha? Ikumitado, tinungod yun pa. Kita ba? We know that kaning life is priceless. Diba? There is no equivalent or amount of money equivalent to each and every one of us. You are not worth 20 billion, you are not worth 50 million, you are not worth 1 million. Nothing. Wala dyan siya equivalent na amount. Life is priceless. So we have to value this. Una nga, nakaingon ko nga, inigingon nga mahal ang Purtier. Okay, try illness. Try to be sick. What is 135,000 therapy? How much did we pay the hospital for that 14 months, 3 times? Almost 2 million. And sad to say nga, walay insurance coverage ang akong husband. Because he is a scuba diver, walay insurance company to cover. So we took the money from our pocket and from the pocket of our friends and relatives who really helped us. Grabe yun ang katong ang pangyarihan. But then, now, I am very much thankful to this product. So, because of that we are the beneficiary, we became a beneficiary of Purtier placenta. That's why we are advocating this. We go to different places.